Hey, Walker. Hey, when you got Lindor there in the second inning with the bases loaded, I kind of thought back to that Seager at bat earlier this year where kind of similar situation, close game. You challenged him with the fastball. Just kind of wondering, how'd you kind of make that, right, we've been talking all year about kind of you finding who you are, to go from being that guy that tried to throw it past Seager to, here feeling comfortable throwing the curveball in that situation?
Yeah, I throw what Will puts down. I think this series and this playoffs, I think, is as in sync with the pitching staff as Will has ever been, and he's calling really good games. And I trust what he sees more than anyone. I trust what he sees more than I trust what I see, and so I think that that's just a tip of the cap to him.
When you started this journey back from the Tommy John, you talked about wanting to pitch in games like this. Just kind of simply, how fun was tonight?
Yeah, it's everything to me. We talked about it before the San Diego start, the big games or me being in big games. That's literally all I care about. And the way Kike talks about our team having some sort of confidence when I pitch, regardless, I think is kind of really the goal for any starting pitcher. There's the stats and free agency and all of the shit, but I just want 25 guys in the locker room that believe that I give us a really good chance to win. And if I've created that in our locker room somehow, that's probably what I'll be the most proud of when I'm done.
Go to Fabio in second row.
Just to go back to that Lindor at bat, do you feel like that's something maybe pre-surgery that you probably would want to try to throw a fastball in that spot?
Oh, in 2018, 19, 20, I would have thrown a fastball. I mean, there's no – yeah.
And then I think I noticed that you went to the stretch right after that first Lindor at bat. What sort of made you want to sort of just wind
my
up?
right foot moves in my windup, and the mound, it being cold, it's always pretty hard here, but especially when it's cold, it's extremely hard. And the first three throws of the game, my foot, I had no idea where it was. So in the stretch, I'm able to kind of set it and not worry about it. So we kind of audibled pretty quick.
And when the bases are loaded there in the second inning, is there a place that you go to mentally or anything that you kind of have to channel to be able to sort of get out of that spot?
Yeah, the fear of pitching the way I pitched all year, I think, is probably probably where I channel it from.
Crystal in the front row on the left, far left.
Walker, congrats on the win. Crystal Rich, KTLA. When you just look back and think about what you've been through in your career, to Tommy John surgeries, you come out here in a huge road game. You pitch 4 strong innings. Can you just talk about the meaning, what that means to you after so much that you've been through in your career?
It doesn't mean a whole lot much more to me than winning Game 3 of the NLCS, but I think later down the road it may mean a lot to me. But right now I'm going to enjoy tonight and then get ready if we have to play a Game 7. And I think when you're in these playoff things, everything gets really blurry and really fast. And today was a good day for me and for our team. And sometimes I think they feel bigger than they are. Like, if we come out and play like shit tomorrow, we won't care about how good we played today. So I think we kind of saw that in LA. We get the big Game 1 win, and then the second game doesn't go our way, and now it's 1-1, right? And so to have an advantage in the playoff series is huge, and I always talk about momentum in the playoffs, whether it's an inning or a game or a series, and this is definitely a big momentum win for us, but if we don't do something with it, then it doesn't really matter a whole lot.
And speaking of that momentum, everyone wants to go back to this moment because it was huge. Bases loaded, you strike out Lindor. What did that do for your momentum and for the team?
For me personally, it's huge. I think the last time I really made a pitch that in the playoffs that kind of got it through was 2020 against Atlanta, kind of a similar situation. So, yeah, I think when you talk about the surgeries and the road and all of that stuff, I think being able to make a big pitch in a big spot is kind of the last thing that you check off, but the one thing that you want to check off more than anything. And tonight, that was a big deal for me.
Let's go 5 rows up in the middle aisle.
Walker right here. I saw the stat that you now have the second most postseason starts in Dodgers franchise history, just behind Kersh. All the pitchers that have come through, the Hall of Famers, Newcomb, Koufax, Drysdale, Fernando, Hershiser, for you to be second on that list and giving your team so many victories in the postseason, even after missing the last 2 postseasons, what does that mean to be in that company?
I honestly, I think that's a team stat. Just to be honest with you, we've been in the playoffs every year that I've been here, and healthy at least, and I've been very fortunate to get the ball. And the trust thing or whatever we kind of developed through the years to let me have the ball. This year is kind of a pretty good example of that, just because of the way the regular season went. But it's a cool stat and a cool thing. But to me, that's about our team.
And lastly, Doc has said you've had to almost relearn how to pitch coming from this surgery. What has been the, biggest difficulty or the thing that you've learned the most in kind of relearning how to come back out here and be you again?
That on 3-2 with the bases loaded, I got to throw a curveball now instead of a heater.
Jake on the right side, about 4 rows. Yep.
You had the most swing and misses tonight that you've had in a start since October of 2021. I'm just curious, did you feel tonight, did you feel on the mound kind of the way you did before the injuries came?
No, I think in the cold the ball acts kind of different and can move really big and do some crazy things. Honestly, the only point of pride I've had in the past couple months has been trying to get deep into games and be efficient. And so to only throw 4 innings is kind of like the complete opposite of that. But I'm proud just for a different reason in terms of being able to get through some big spots and tough spots. But it's just one of those things. I try not to give in the playoffs, especially, and sometimes that leads to a pitch count problem or walking more guys than you typically would. But this game in October is about having zeros, and I'm proud of the fact that I was able to do that 4 times.
Take 2 last ones. We have 1 in the middle on the left, and then we'll finish up here in the front.
Walker, your curveball tonight had a different profile to it. The spin was down and it was breaking differently. Mm-hmm. Did you tinker with your grip at all or change anything, or was it the cold, as you said, creates a different movement profile?
Yeah, as I said, I think the cold really affects the ball weirdly. The ball moves really well here, obviously, or kind of always has, and I think the cold just makes the ball kind of act a little bit funky. I don't know Severino's typical metrics, but his were really, really good as well. And so, our relievers that came in when I was looking at them, their big boy metrics. And I don't know the crosswinds and what happens, but, all 5 of my pitches were kind of a little bit bigger or weirder or acted different than normal. I don't think it was just the curveball, but, it's just an interesting environment to pitch in here in the cold.
Finish up right here in the front.
Was there anything specific that you worked on after your outing against San Diego, and after that start, how much more pressure was there knowing that you were going to have to be back on the mound and most likely?
I don't think pressure is kind of the right word. It's so overused, but pressure is a privilege. And, talking about how many starts I've gotten to make, that's the privilege part of it, right? I've gotten to do this a lot of times, and these games certainly get me excited, but they don't kind of overwhelm me like they used to when I was young, my first couple starts. So, I'm just fortunate to be a part of this organization and a part of this team specifically.
All right, thanks a lot,
Thanks,
Walker.
guys.
Appreciate it.